A man named Henry worked at a toll booth, living the most boring and monotonous life imaginable. Every day was exactly the same. One morning after finishing his night shift, he returned home to have breakfast with his wife. She brought up the topic of having a child together, but Henry seemed hesitant and unsure. His wife asked if he still loved her. He said yes, but his expression told a completely different story. Their conversation was suddenly interrupted by a knock at the door. It was Henry's friend Eddie, along with another man named Joe, who was vomiting violently in the front yard. Henry's wife, who worked as a nurse, took care of the sick man. Eddie explained they were heading to play baseball, but since Joe was too ill to participate, he invited Henry to join them instead. Although reluctant at first, Henry eventually agreed and got in the car. But shortly after, they arrived in front of a bank instead of a baseball field. Eddie and his friend claimed they were just going to use the ATM, but then they pulled masks over their faces, grabbed guns, and ran inside to rob the bank. A confused Henry stayed in the stolen car, realizing too late that the vehicle had been hot-wired. Moments later, security alarms blared, and his friends came running out with bags of cash. A security guard named Frank spotted Henry sitting in the getaway car wearing the same jersey as the robbers. He was immediately arrested. At the police station, the officers realized Henry wasn't actually one of the robbers. They asked for his friends' names, but he refused to say anything. Because of his silence, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for a crime he didn't even commit. In prison, he met his cellmate Max, an old convict who had spent most of his life behind bars. Max became like a father figure to him. He told Henry that the real crime in life isn't breaking the law, it's not pursuing your dreams. Max said every prisoner once had big dreams, but something went wrong and they ended up here. He asked Henry what his dreams were. Henry shockingly admitted he had none. 6 months later, Henry's wife visited him in prison. She revealed she had fallen in love with someone else. Strangely, Henry didn't seem hurt at all. He simply wished her well. A year passed, and Max told Henry that he never wanted to leave prison because it had become his home. But when Henry's parole review came, Max urged him to behave and leave. He hoped they would never see each other again. Henry was released early and returned home, only to discover his wife was now pregnant with her new boyfriend, Joe, the same man who had been vomiting that day. Joe offered Henry a job in a pyramid scheme, which he refused. That night, Henry watched a lottery commercial on TV featuring a woman promoting the city's lottery. The next day, feeling lost and bored, he returned to the bank and stood outside staring at it for no reason. Suddenly, a car came out of nowhere and hit him. The driver was the woman from the lottery commercial. The security guard Frank helped him and took him to a nearby cafe. Inside the cafe bathroom, Henry read an old newspaper article on the wall. It described a bank robbery from the 1930s where criminals used an underground tunnel from a theater next door to steal millions. Henry stared at the article and smiled. He finally had a dream. He would rob that same bank for real this time.